leopard tracks were on the road, and they look relatively fresh, but right now this second I can't actually see them. But we just found this. Hello, boy. James, that's a really good question. And the purpose of the white marks on an Nyala's face. The theory that I've heard is that they represent false eyes, especially those ones if he turns his head to face us again, almost directly under his eyes. So that if a predator wouldn't bother to attack eyes, they'd just go for throats or something. But maybe snakes, spitting cobras, are known to have an incredibly accurate shot, and they will attempt to spray venom at eyes. But eyes are a weak point on all animals. They're used for vision, they're very sensitive areas. And the theory that I've heard is they're supposed to represent false eyes, and you would notice those. Come on, boy, show us your false eyes from the front there. They're much more noticeable than he's realised, in fact. They're very prominent white marks. And the ones on the side may be the same thing. If you glance at this animal, if you blink a bit and look away, you would almost look like if those two white dots on the side of his face were eyes, his face would be sort of flattened sideways rather than the actual position it's in. He's not going to show us from the front now. But really good question. Also, again, just breaks up body contact. Ooh! That oxpecker just tried to land on him and failed. All of these patterns and shapes on their bodies do make for a less antelope-looking body structure. You see how he just dipped his head. He just lifted his chin slightly, which dipped those horns. Stop him from banging those horns on the branches. Oh, it's a nice view of a red-billed oxpecker there. Desperate to land on this Nyala. That's a really nice, it was a really nice image of that oxpecker. Often found around large mammals. All the way down to impala, occasionally warthog. Birds are going crazy this morning. Terry, excuse me, oxpeckers do not feed on antelope earwax. They actually feed on, some people say they feed on ticks, but they actually feed on blood, or mostly blood. So when they eat the ticks on mammals, they're actually eating the blood that the ticks have been sucking from mammals. And they're found basically anywhere tick-sile. But they'll also be found on open wounds if there's a weeping wound or something. They will also sometimes peck, peck, peck to feed on that blood that's seeping from a wound on an animal. Sorry, a bit early in the morning for that. He's just behind this silver cluster leaf now, but it's very relaxed. He was feeding not much more than 5 or 6 meters from the car. Where you gone, boy? But like I said, very clear why these animals are called selective browsers or selective feeders. He's moving from tree to tree, Nibble, nibble, moving on to the next one, picking only the youngest and juiciest shoots, and lots of these trees are indeed shooting this time of year. New leaves, flowers are coming,